Now, the Fed decision is just around the corner. And what you can see on this price chart is the price action of Cardano ADA every time there has been a Fed decision. So, for example, back here in November of 2024, we had a rate cut, and that then led to a 267% surge to the upside. Now, what's interesting about this price action is we had another Fed decision that took place in September of 2024, and it was announced that there was going to be a base cut. And so in Q3 and Q4, what we saw was Feds being aggressive when it came to reducing the rates. And so leading up to this Fed decision that took place in November, people were more inclined to borrowing money and investing in risky assets such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano ADA. Now, shortly after this price surge, we then saw people take profits, and then we saw this corrective move to the downside, leading to the next Fed decision that took place in December, where we saw a rate cut and volatility in the market that led to Cardano ADA dropping by 28%. We then saw this short move to the upside and a corrective move leading to the next Fed decision that took place in January. And the Feds announced that they were going to pause the rates. And this took a lot of people by surprise because leading to 2025, people were more inclined into thinking that the Feds were going to continue to be aggressive and reduce the rates. However, the Feds announced that they were going to pause the rates, and that then led to more volatility within the market and a 48% drop. We then saw this nice move to the upside, especially this event here, when President Donald Trump announced that crypto assets were going to be used as a strategic reserve. And shortly after, we then saw this corrective move to the downside. And here we are now tracking this move leading up to the Fed decision. Now, what's interesting is this tool that I like to use called FedWatch tool is showing that there is a 99% chance that the Fed is going to pause the rates. And so that kind of aligns with my analysis this week with regards to ADA trading sideways and consolidating, because people are aware of what's going to happen next week. And so, you know, when it does get announced that there's going to be a pause, it's not going to come as a surprise to a lot of people. And so I don't anticipate there being a lot of volatility in the market. However, I do anticipate there being potentially a small retracement. So, for example, we could potentially see a 10% move to the downside. However, in the grand scheme of things, it's not so much of a big deal. And I am still tracking that $2 range. And yeah, so once we see that retracement, then I do potentially see ADA moves to the upside, similar to what took place back here in November. Now, should we hit those targets, then I do anticipate people to be taking profits, and we will see a corrective move to the downside, leading to the next Fed decision that will take place in May. And it is looking likely that we could potentially see another pause. So if I go back to the FedWatch tool, you can see on here there is a 68% chance that there is going to be another pause on the rates. And so this will be interesting to track leading up to that date. And of course, I will be keeping you guys updated. Now, in terms of the chart that I've been analyzing over the last few months, what you can see is, of course, the price of Cardano ADA trading sideways. And here we have been testing some key levels, such as the 50 EMA, the upper target of this channel, and the 200 EMA. Now, long term, that's bullish because these are the levels that we need to be testing and breaking through in order for us to reach that $2 mark that I've been targeting. And despite us actually finding rejection, it's still very bullish because, you know, we are testing those key levels. Now, one thing to note is on our stochastic RSI, we are overbought, and so we are going to be losing that momentum. And it will be interesting to see if ADA can actually hold this position and find support at the upper target of this channel. If not, then the next key level will be the 50 EMA. And ideally, we would want to find support at that level. Now, Smart Money Concept is indicating that we have a strong high at 77 cents. And so the likelihood of us actually breaching past this high is unlikely. And I do actually anticipate us to continue to trade sideways within this channel leading up to the Fed decision. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we are once again testing key levels. So we did test the 50 EMA, and right now we are looking at potentially finding support ideally. If not, then we are going to be trading sideways within this channel. Now, the interesting thing to note is on the stochastic RSI, we are overbought, and so we are going to lose momentum. And so should we, of course, not find support at the 50 EMA, then we are going to be trading sideways within this channel. And the daily chart shows an interesting story because we did manage to break through the 200 EMA. And that's a bullish sign in the long run because, once again, these are the key levels that we need to be testing. And one thing to note is on our stochastic RSI, we are below 50, and so we are within oversold conditions. And so it will be interesting to see if we can manage to find more momentum on the price of Cardano ADA and potentially close above the 200 EMA. And that's something that I'll be keeping an eye on by today and this upcoming weekend as well. And so, yeah, that's just my quick update on Cardano ADA. And just to summarize, I am anticipating a pause on the Fed decision on Wednesday. And in addition to that, I do anticipate an ADA to continue to trade sideways. However, at the moment, we are testing key levels, such as the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA on the hourly chart, and the 50 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and the 200 EMA on the daily chart, which is, of course, bullish. And if worst case scenario we see a retracement, then I do anticipate ADA to continue to sit above the 64 set mark. And so we could potentially reach that 6 or 7 set mark, which could align with ADA potentially dropping around 10%. So yeah, leading to the Fed decision, we could potentially see, for example, a 10% drop to the downside, which is not too much of a big deal in the grand scheme of things. However, long term, I'm still bullish, and even if we do break this low, I do still see a bounce to the upside on the price of Cardano ADA. And so that's just my quick thoughts on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found this useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, then feel free to hit that subscribe button. Thank you, people, and take it easy. Peace.